Dorothea Lange was a popular documentary photographer during the first half of the 20th century. She's best known for her work during the 1930s working with the Roosevelt Farm Security Administration. Her ethically evaluated photographs brought the plight of the nation's poor and forgotten peoples, particularly displaced families and migrant workers, into the public eye. Lange's reports from the field included not just photographs, but the words of the people with whom she'd spoken and photographed. Many of her captions were very descriptive to represent the reality of their situation. An example of one caption reads, "I don't believe the president knows what's happening to us here." In this regard, her photos are also descriptive, as well as ethically evaluative. Her photos are featured in various museums and available online from places such as the Library of Congress. This photo is an example of the impact of the Dust Bowl in the West. This photo, taken in 1938, entitled Dust Bowl, Texas, depicts a lone house in a desolate area. The photo creates a somber, neglected mood, paralleling the abandonment many of the families felt from the impacts of the Great Depression, like losing their farm after the Dust Bowl, for example. In 1936, Lange captured this iconic photo, titled 32-Year-Old Mother of 7 Children. This image from the Migrant Mother series is arguably one of the best-known documentary photographs of the 20th century. It can be seen as a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. This young mother seems years beyond her age, a result of poverty and hardship. She's sitting and gazing away, possibly reflecting on the past. This descriptive photo expresses the monotony and struggle in their lives. She captures the photo with the children facing away from the camera, conveying their loss of joy and innocence children at that age should have. Lange photographed many mothers and children. She wanted her photos to provoke Americans to respond to the damage that the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression caused. Her use of mothers and children, typically viewed as a vulnerable population, was a strategy used by Lange to incite a rise to action. In this photo, captioned Mother and Children on the Road, taken in 1938, the subjects of this image look worn, physically and emotionally, as demonstrated by the desperate look in their eyes and the dirt covering their faces. In this photo, titled Dust Bowl Kids and taken in 1936, Lange once again uses children to deepen her impact on the viewer. The blurred background of the photo forces the viewer to focus on the children. Lange perceived that most Americans distanced themselves from the hardships these migrant families suffered so they could turn a blind eye. In this photo, it is hard to focus on anything but the children. This photo, titled Child Living in Oklahoma City Shacktown, was photographed in 1936. The subject is right in the middle of the picture, known as bullseye composition. This allows the viewer to focus on the suffering displayed across the child's face. The natural sunlight provided from being outside darkens the child's eyes, creating an even more dismal picture. Her darkened eyes represent the rest of the country's ignorance, who neglected migrant families in a time of need by turning a blind eye to the extreme poverty that spread over the West. This photo, taken by Lange, is an example of her focus on migrant workers. Many were displaced and unable to find work or shelter. This photo portrays the uncertainty in the life of a migrant worker, who may not know where tomorrow will find him. Taking the photo up close to the subject emphasizes the length of the road ahead, which appears to lead nowhere. The man is slightly off-centered, which allows the viewer to focus on both the worker and his daunting journey ahead. The picture blurs as the road gets farther, representing the lack of a clear future, which was a reality for many workers and families at this time. Lange used her camera as a tool to document true stories of American people and helps us understand how powerful a photograph can be.